Hello, everyone, and welcome to the YASUKE radio podcast. I think we actually need a name for this, and maybe here in the call we'll actually discuss this. I'm thinking maybe like YASUKE Yapcast.
Yapping with YASUKE.
A Lost podcast.
Perfect. I love it. You are joined by myself, Will Gosera, also known as the voice of Tanaka Yasuke in the game.
Hi, I am Chase, also known as Nobusora Oda in the game.
I am Eva, also known as Mia Valentina in the game.
And I am Savi, aka Aina Oda.
Perfect. So now you know us. This is the main four. You gotta get used to us. You're gonna get sick of us. And these YASUKE radios are essentially to give you guys like an extra bit of lore, an extra bit of sense of the world, the characters, and you may get some new character reveals in future episodes. But yeah, is there anything anyone wants to say or start with before we get into the questions?
Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute honor and privilege.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Well, let's start off with question number 1. Do you think the Odas would ever agree to do this out of universe?
No.
Not a chance.
Years. No.
Absolutely
Well,
not.
all the money in the world. No.
What, you wouldn't want to hear a Nobusura and Aina talk show, man? I think it would be quite great.
Bold
I
of you to
imagine
assume
it's-
they would want to do that.
The energy in the studio would be rancid. They would be sat facing each other in the studio. Nobusora like doing like the finger pyramid of contemplation, like fingers crossed, like slouched in his seat slightly, staring daggers. And his sister like, go ahead, say something, entertain the people.
I can
That
even
you would have to be
imagine.
in a room with Tanaka would be
Oh,
enough for
don't
him
even
to
get
wanna kill him.
started. They'll just start fighting mid podcast. I can even imagine one of the tech guys would be like, Nobusura, could you speak up, please? You're a bit, and then he just gets up and starts trying to kill him and like, what do you mean? You think I can't be heard clear enough? Like I could just picture some
The
shit
people
like
of this country hear my voice plain as day. Attacking this poor man.
Savi, what do you think about Aina? What would be her take on the doing this, I guess?
No, she'd be like, oh, this could be a fabulous opportunity to make the country think well of my brother. And then her brother would just like cough and she'd be like, actually, no. He even coughs like a maniac.
He coughs like a maniac.
There's nothing I can do to salvage the
Unwell
situation.
in every sense of the word.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Someone needs to get him therapy, genuinely. Like,
There's not a therapist alive brave enough for this man.
that is true because everyone that was is no longer alive. So, moving on to question 2. How much do you think Mia spends on art supplies?
I say nothing because she doesn't spend her own money. She takes it from the city. She'd be stealing, spray cans and paint buckets from the buildings being made. Why is she going to spend her own money when there's free crafts out there?
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, it's just a way of getting back at Oda, She don't pay taxes,
I mean, if there's happens to be an Oda guard underneath her, she's gonna grab a paint bucket and just throw it over the, vault it over and hit them, and nobody would see them.
Yeah.
Start
but what a
note to
waste
self,
of art.
start putting tracking chips in paint buckets.
Tracking shit.
Yeah, they'll land on the guards more than.
Listen, I didn't say it's a good idea. We're workshopping stuff. There's no bad ideas, right?
But Mia is an artist and she's creative. It's not just the art where she gets creative. Like procuring her supplies in and of itself is an art
Exactly.
form as well.
Exactly.
When it comes to spray cans, she probably, grabs some from old shops, things like that. You know, if there's a paint and hardware store, it's probably ransacked at least once a quarter kind of thing.
Why are they
to
still
be
in
fair-
business? That's just poor business at that
I
point.
mean, profit
Like,
loss
we seem to
also
get robbed
helps
a lot.
their taxes. So
That's true. And I mean, to be fair, we have Miss Jada's shop. That's their gang's hangout spot when they were younger. She has a DIY store, which includes paints and stuff. But that's probably why she hates having them there, because, you know, Mia would ransack all of her supplies. So,
I mean, the smell of aerosol every day would probably give Miss Jada a headache. Let's be honest.
that's true. That's true. And then you have the nagging kids in the background screaming and fighting, because you have Tanaka and Nobusuro fighting with pipes and buckets. Meanwhile, Aina and Mia are just spray painting and coloring stuff all over the place. I really wouldn't blame her.
All
for
I'm
joining.
hearing here is that the best way to entrap Mia is like, you know, in Looney Tunes when you've got like a paint can under a cardboard box with a stick, and then as soon as she goes for it, you quick put the couple of us down. You just trap her.
I'm pretty sure.
Instead of a sign that says free art supplies, it says expensive art supplies do not steal.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Question 3. Isn't it weird to constantly have an old guy in your head? Okay, I sound schizophrenic to some people. Now, I tell Mia whenever we're going around Nihonkoku and, you know, Tanaka's here, he's saying that there's someone watching us from a building, or there may be someone here that he sees. And Mia will kind of just look at him crazy, thinking, are you okay? And even now as I speak it, I sound crazy. And I'm telling you guys.
It's just
He
the
is.
song in my head. I always feel like somebody's watching me. It's just constantly playing Mia's song. Like, that's her head song every time he talks about it. It's like,
It's true.
okay.
I need help. Maybe I'm not that far-fetched from Nobusura.
Do they not have
the old
security
guy-
cameras in Nihonkoku? I mean, to be fair, you're not wrong, I suppose, in some ways.
That's true, but like, what do I ring up the older hotline and say, "Hey, it's Tanaka. I have someone following me," and Nobusura would probably respond with, "Yeah, it's me."
Yeah.
I
Duh.
don't.
I'm paying them.
Literally.
What am I paying them for if not to
My
follow
yens
you?
are going far.
Exactly.
I thought the question, you know, might have been for Nobusora. Is, you know, the old guy in his head is definitely his dad.
That's actually true. That's a fair. You know what, Nobusura? What is it like, Chase, having an old guy constantly in your head?
How real are we being?
Hey, you be as real as you want to be, man.
We're all friends. This
Not
is a safe
good.
space.
Nobusora is not well. We've
That-
discussed this.
Yeah,
He's not a relaxed, chill individual. He's you know, I'm gonna come out and say it. I don't think his dad's a good influence on him.
Oh, definitely not.
Steady on now. Like,
Oh.
let's not. This is the first episode. Let's not get too crazy now.
Oh my, that's true. Family Feud already. I can't believe it. Okay, well, moving on to question 4. How's life in Nihonkoku? Never seen a city this bright. Well, I'll speak from Tanaka's standpoint. I think it's a very colorful country. There's so much going on. Even Rengo district. Rengo in itself means unity. The amount of different cultures that thrive in this one city and district. We have all these different just types of people. The diversity is, you go to one area and there's a market stall giving one type of country's food, and you go across the street and now you're in a different continent. It feels great. Of course, Tanaka and Mia being able to parkour around the city, see the views from a different level that other people see, and everyone's just so nice. Everyone's so cheerful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would also say that it's very bright even at night, so, you know, wearing sunglasses at night would not be that hard for a lot of people, just because of how bright these neons are in people's faces. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God, what is this glaring eyesore? But at
That's
the same
facts.
time, you know, you see why people have goggles and things like that on them. It's like, yeah, it's way too bright even at night. It's like New York,
both.
just 12 times bigger.
Yeah, it's both fashion and functional. What about the odors?
I mean,
The
really, you've just done our
public
PR
stance.
campaign for us. It's just like, see? Even our enemies love life in Nihonkoku. It's fabulous. Thanks. That's all I have to say. Even these guys like it, so we're doing something right.
The public stance is that Oda District is as bright as our future.
Oh, what a
That is such a political answer, honestly.
It really is. I'm not supposed to agree with this, but shit, you got me.
You've just been waxing lyrical about Neon Goku this whole time. What do you mean?
Like damn. Maybe I'm converted, bro.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
Oda's
you
right
two
all
are gonna
along.
come for it. And it's like, see, look, even those who aren't our fans love it here. Like,
Yeah. You know what? Actually, let's go back to our answers before. The people. I was too blindsided thinking about how great the people are in Neon Goku. But let's not forget the Oda clan. Okay.
the best people you'll ever meet.
The Oda clan, I can't walk 10 meters down the street without being interrogated as to where I'm going. They have curfews, they have just ransacking random civilians trying to see. I'm pretty sure last week I saw an Oda guard steal someone's food, and at this point it's like, what are you doing? So you know, in that aspect
How
of
do we
life,
know it wasn't expired and we weren't taking it away for that citizen's own safety?
The Oda guards are looking out for everyone's safety, and I'm
Exactly.
so sorry we pay them enough that they ask you about your day and where you're going.
you see,
Keeping
I
our
would,
citizens safe.
I would be inclined to think maybe you're right if I didn't see him take off his mask and proceed to eat it in front of the civilian.
Taste testing to prove that it
taste
was in
tester.
fact, dangerous.
Wow, you guys really are PR
It's not
trained,
just
huh?
the king. It's not just the king that has, a food taster and a wine taster. We offer that to just the everyday civilian because we can.
It makes sense. It makes sense. What was I
It is
thinking?
not optional. I have to be clear about that.
It's not
It is a bit mandatory, but
Obligatory food tasting.
Oh my gosh.
Well, somebody's
I'll
got to
be
taste the
damned.
poison.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Hey, I mean, no spoilers or anything, but someone definitely did. You know, I just want to point that out. Someone tasted the poison. Anyways,
I'm giving you a look. You can't
Is
tell
this you
because we're on a
saying that by the
podcast,
end
but I'm
of this
giving you a look.
radio show, one of us will be dead because we've ingested poison at the beginning of this?
No, definitely not.
But I had a new question to the podcast, which is where do I
Go
find the
ahead.
antidote?
Next question. Okay. So, would you mind giving a detailed explanation on the insurgents' various ways to avoid and defeat the guards for no particular reason? I wonder who asked that question. That's
And
such
speak
a
slowly so I can take notes.
I mean,
Okay,
I've already explained about the paint cans, you know.
Yeah, and
That
I
is a
think
way
it's
to, like, be able to at least blindside them.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to see for good. And I think you use that extra strong paint, so it's kind of hard to wipe off the visor.
Yeah, it's gonna be that bright pink, like pink pony club pink kind of color.
Exactly, exactly.
Wait,
And-
important.
Cards.
Glitter or no glitter?
oh,
With glitter.
Oh,
Okay,
There's
thank you.
gotta be glitter.
Yeah.
It's gotta be everywhere.
it's gotta be clear. You know, Tanaka's ways of getting around, you know, not trying to get too into detail because I think certain people are listening. But, you know, I would tell them, I hope they're having a nice day. Walk along, pretend like nothing's going on, and just wish them well. That's it. That's exactly what I do. I definitely don't include anything of fighting, sword combat, superpowered Danketsu movement. Like I don't think any of that is really necessary. Maybe I'm just talking crazy.
No,
If you just
Busora,
stay
like,
in the
all
rooftops,
units be
you
on
don't
the
get noticed
lookout
that
for
often.
people with friendly demeanors.
Friendly demeanors.
I mean, come on. Nobody really looks up when they're patrolling, so
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of their own
you
fault.
could just
Maybe.
walk-
don't they?
I mean, not your
To
cars.
retrain these guards.
I mean, all I gotta say is the helmets. It's kind of limiting for their head movement. I'm gonna help you out here and let you know that.
If someone would stop bludgeoning them, we could perhaps remove the helmets.
I mean, I'm going to say this as a never.
Exactly.
But, you know.
Yeah, I can't promise you anything. But just to agree to disagree, sure.
I feel like this is the part where we bring in a special super secret guest. One of the gods, they have bludgeoned everyone.
Here he is.
See what
He's
they have to
unconscious.
say.
He is unconscious and can't
Here
speak.
is his grieving wife, who is wondering how she's going to put food on the table now that he's not earning.
Listen, guys, I gotta be honest. I have a no-kill rule. I don't kill anyone. However, if after the fight they may not be able to talk or function, that's not my fault.
I mean,
No.
Will that hold
no
up
killing
in court?
is definitely
I
a
don't
thing.
think
It's just unconscious is the level that I'll go to. You know.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
kill him,
He's just
give him a lot of psychological and physical damage afterwards.
he's having a prolonged sleep. I think
Tanaka hitting the streets with a compelling series of arguments instead of superpowers and a sword.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but Rengo District loves what I do. The other districts, we ain't gotta talk about how they
Oda
feel.
District
but
does not.
yeah, I can imagine quite the amount. Next question. Moving on. Where did the little robot come from? You're talking about my goat Vitra, or as Tanaka and Mia call him, Big P, because he has a big plug on his head. So, that's kind of the vibe. Vitra, the little robot, he one time we were parkouring above Miss Jada's shop, and we so happened to find him there. He's actually one of the Oda God training bots. It's a standard production, but we kind of took him as our own, modified and tweaked a few things, gave him a sentient conscience, and now we got Vitra. He's not one of the standard robots that you guys have.
Our robots are top of the line.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have
Which means
even
our
got
robot
Vitra
is
without
top
our
of the
tech,
line.
so...
Yeah, that's true. But again, as Eva was saying right there, our Vitra's top of the line. You won't find anyone else like him. Now, there may be some moments where Vitra sees some of the other robots and he's a little sad, and seeing the fact they aren't free like he is. Hold on, robot
Or
racism?
are you
Is this what I was...
saying he might be sad because he isn't with his fellow robot brethren having a wonderful time under Oda care? Let's not be reading
Are
into
all
Vitra's...
of the other robots sad, or did we spare them the pain of existence in that way?
Exactly.
We didn't give our robots existential dread, Tanaka.
You make very compelling arguments. Listen, I just think if we have Vitra here right now, maybe he'll join us for a future call. If we had him with us, I know he would agree that he loves living. He gets to experience things. He gets to be alive.
You just programmed him to say that.
Yeah. Free will is a lie.
It's a lie. No.
Okay, we're getting into metaverse territory now. I feel scared.
I know. Maybe I need to go have a talk with Vitra and really ask how he feels. But okay. Next question. Who's your favorite character from the revealed cast so far? Okay, obviously if we have to be unbiased from our own characters, I think my favorite, it might gotta be Kenny fucking Lawrence. Like,
I was gonna say it's 3 words. Kenny fucking Lawrence.
yeah, just he has a different flair to him. It's something, a little insight for you guys to hear when me and Justice was doing some Kenny recordings on February 1st. Because Kenny, he's very much on the border of like, he's not racist, but
He is a patriot.
he's a patriot. He feels strong for his country. So when he was recording, and Justice made a point, he was like, you made me voice act this character on the start of Black History Month. And not only that, one of the lines, which by the way, I didn't say, like, I didn't write this line down. I said to Justice, improvise. We need some shit talk whilst we're fighting Kenny. And Justice proceeds to say, get back here, boy. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna use that, but hey, Kenny just got a different kind of vibe to him, man. And he's got a different kind of sauce and swagger. So I'll say Kenny is my answer.
Yep, definitely, Kenny. Just when you announced that it was Justice, I was so happy. I was like, I've worked with him on a lot of projects, and it's just, oh my god, the way he improvs just scares me sometimes.
We need to start a whole other podcast just for how much we love Justice.
Yeah,
jeez.
Hey, that'll be the Kenny episode,
Justice for
man.
There we go.
I'm actually going to say something different because that was the obvious pick, and of course it was epic. But, and this is talking as Savvy. I don't know how Aina feels, but Yuki Yoshihara is literally like teenage me's ideal. Like pretty, white head, gorgeous. Like I don't care what his role in the story is. I just give him kisses. He's fabulous. He's so
Kind of
pretty.
Real.
boy kind of thing.
That is about, Yuki is the
Real.
pretty boy of the group. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
Even if we give like a little insight to like his personality and stuff, if we think about what random things can the group do. For example, Tanaka is a good dancer. Mia is good at powerlifting and all that sort of stuff. Yuki's a good cook. It's just a very random thing, but like things like
The
that.
fangirls are writing those barista AU fanfics as we speak.
Oh no!
It's happening.
I'm feeding into it. No, that's
Next
a very
thing we know,
valid
we're gonna
answer.
have a mukbang. Just
Yes.
No, mukbang.
of his cooking, you know.
The Yuki mukbang that needs to be done. We need to have that in the game now.
It's a quick time event.
Oh my god.
Quick time.
God, quick
Not the
time.
button mashing. It'll be like a competition as to who can eat the quickest between the crew. And they'll just be. I love it. I love it. Okay, next one. Oh, this is you guys are gonna have fun with this. Do the older siblings actually get along, or are they constantly aiming for each other's throats?
We are best friends.
Officially
I love my
speaking.
brother. He is wonderful. There is nothing wrong with my brother.
And now, if we just cut the mics for a second and talk on a real.
Help.
Say the
Send
script
aid.
I gave you like you meant it.
Not the script. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that pretty much sums it. These older siblings, you guys are gonna see a lot between them.
I think there would have been a potential for them to have gotten along if circumstances turned out differently,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
But circumstances are what they are.
Yep,
I mean, as
life
we
has-
discussed
shit
earlier, if
happens.
he wasn't mowing down every therapist that came his way, maybe she would have made an attempt. But
That's true, actually.
self-preservation's got to kick in sometimes.
Yeah, as Nobusora's actor, I do have to acknowledge that he is 100% the problem that they do not get along. There's no give and take here.
Yeah,
It's not a
he's
two-way
not
street.
he's not all up there, guys. It's just how it is. Maybe one day we'll see the
I mean,
siblings get
I
along.
heard he doesn't
but-
even give his robots free will.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was specifically a design choice from him. That's a shame. It's a
No.
shame.
He does give them free will,
Oh, no.
but then binds them so they can't act upon it.
They can't- Well, how's the suffering?
Exactly.
You
Just
invented
to
robot pain.
implement inbuilt dread and misery
Oh my
into his
gosh.
robot gods.
See, I did free Vitra. This is what I'm talking about. Oh my God.
You said this was all off mic. Like, this is all being cut from the final episode.
Hey, yo,
So-
Jerry in
Yeah.
production, you still got this, right? Like,
Stop paying Jerry $5 to leave these segments in.
hey man, we gotta bring you guys down one way or another. I'm just saying.
Well, it's
okay.
certainly not combat, is it?
Okay, I will prove to you otherwise.
comments.
You'll see. You'll see. Okay.
I think it
if
might
you
be the
could-
power of friendship. Spoilers, but
Oh, no.
that's where I'm putting my
That's-
money. I think the power of friendship's
You're
gonna.
right. The power of friendship.
Yeah.
Just because
Oh, wait.
Nobusora has no friends, you bring it to that arena. I see how it is.
Yeah, quick question. Nobusura, who does he talk to about his problems? Because I know there ain't really anyone he can go to.
That would be Nobusura's lifelong friend and trusted confidant, Odegaard number 48.
Mm-hmm. We love Odegaard number 48. We love him.
First name and last name redacted.
What are the chances that Odegaard number 48 actually spreads some of the things that Nobusura says to other Odegaards in the Force?
If they know what's good for them, 0.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
how
a fair
would you
point.
actually know if it is Odegaard 48 and they're just not swapping each other out? You just
See,
think it's the
Because he's
same
his
one.
trusted
Nobusura-
confidant and best friend. Of course, he could pick him out of a crowd.
It's
Easy.
true. Also, I imagine Nobusura has done the very mentally healthy strategy of seeding specific juicy rumors to various guards and seeing which ones get out, knowing who had which one, and then strategically eliminating them from the guard. I mean, in their jobs, just their jobs, he fires them.
Yes.
He basically did a
Yeah.
Agatha
Definitely.
Christie, just Colleen Rooney'd his way through the entire
Yes.
Underguard to see where the leaks were
Until
coming from.
eventually, his noble, trusted friend and confidant who never spilled any secrets, Odegaard 48, was...
King.
I actually, I have a headcanon, which maybe we'll animate this one day, who knows? But I don't know if you guys have seen that SNL skit with Kylo Ren pretending to be one of the stormtroopers.
Undercover
for a
boss.
day.
Yes.
Undercover
Nobusura
boss.
Oda.
And I think Nobusura would do the exact same thing to, see what the Odegaards really feel about him. I think we should do that. I think we should do that.
Just intensely to a guard in the break room. What's your favorite trait about Nobusura Oda?
I think, to be honest, his metal arm's kind of weird. Like, I think the other Oda guards, they thought it was cool, but my favorite personal part has to be how angry he gets. He can really lash out at times.
Just grabs the guy with his metal arm. What's weird about the metal arm? It's fully functional. Allow me to show you. And throws him through a wall.
And then the other
To
guards
be
will look
fair,
at him
you've
and he's
just
like,
made the guard's day, though. If his favorite trait is the anger,
That's
and he was just
true.
on the receiving end of it, he's just there like, yes, daddy. That was amazing.
What's that there?
yeah, you're right. You know what, actually?
I'm just saying,
Maybe Oda
Nobusura
is a
made a
great
guy's
guy.
dreams come true just then. Best boss.
Thank you
He's a
for
great
the
guy, after
thank you for
all.
the PR spin. We appreciate that here.
They do not pay me enough at all.
Savvy's too PR trained. What is this? Oh my gosh. Okay, going on to the next question. If you could have any type of Danketsu or power, what would it be? Now, of course, if we like, again, non-biased, because Tanaka, he's got the animal Danketsu. We can switch around, do these different animal stances, the characteristics, but I digress. We'll change to something else. If I could have anything, and I want to preface this to those listening, this does not mean that this is a power you will see, okay? I'm just, none of these might or may not be powers you see. I'm just, we're expressing our feelings. I think it might have to be something with like pocket dimensions. That could be pretty cool. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to stray away from the standard, because if I was doing standard, I'd say like super speed. But I'm trying to stray away from the standards and maybe like pocket dimensions. And he could just, he could go in there. Everything's like a replica of the real life, but no one else is there. So you could kind of like, I don't know, let's say you want to rob a bank. Don't ask why theft is the first thing on my mind. But let's say you wanted to rob a bank. You could go into the pocket dimension. Now you're at the version of the bank where no one's there. And then you'll come back. So I'm just like, things like that could be pretty cool.
Now, see, I was gonna say stuff like, you never have to check a bag on an airplane.
Yeah, I thought you was going to be like, that's where Mia chucks all the paint that she stole.
I was gonna say invisibility, because then I could chuck paint and nobody would see her.
The paint cans would just be floating in the air. No.
I mean, it's more like the cloak of invisibility from Harry Potter. Basically, if you have it within you, then you can do everything and not be caught.
I was gonna say, because like, imagine two of the older guys just having a conversation. They're like, John, why is there a floating paint can behind you?
And it knocks
you're gonna learn
out,
really quick to not question things around here.
Literally. But Chase and Savvy, what are your picks?
Savvy, you can go first if you want.
I think, and this might just be some sort of like poetic spitefulness on Aina's part, but like, since she's so in the background and in the shadows, if she could like actually become shadows, like if there's a shadow, she can meld into it, kind of thing. A bit like almost like, like Cloak and Dagger, like the Dark Force dimension, like just melding into shadows and stuff and being able to pop out. Which is ironic given how bright the city is, but I think that actually that would probably suit her. Like, this is what you want me to be? Okay, then. Melts into darkness.
That would actually be a really cool power.
That would be really cool. What about it?
You guys come up with cool powers. I just said something that could help with theft.
Oh.
I said something that would, cause a public nuisance, so...
That's actually a good point.
True. Just every morning, once you get the invisibility power, every morning Nobusora wakes up with Sharpie all over his face, and no one can figure out how it's happening.
Maybe something gets graffitied on the side of one of the Oda buildings, You never have a proof because cameras can't catch what they can't see.
That's true.
Slowly paint just appearing on the side of the building as though it's being printed on.
Just Nobusora with a mustache on the side of a building.
I can already imagine the conversation in the camera rooms where Nobusora is looking at the camera asking the guard, what's going on? And the guard just, I don't know, man. It's just a floating paint can. And, probably ends in violence as per usual.
What?
I'm just having a headcanon of the Oda family like being painted on a mural on one of these buildings, and next thing you see is just devil horns, a mustache,
and twirly mustache
on him.
Little stink lines coming off of him. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, along the lines of ones that specifically impact Nobusora, like if we're just going to use our powers for that messing with him, like I don't know if anyone's seen like Chicago, like when the spin doctor is basically telling the papers exactly what to write. Like he's like a puppet master, like puppeteering them. So like Aina just basically with her little Nobusora sock puppet, like everything is fine. This is what I'm saying. I am not crazy.
If it means he's finally sane, it has to be done. As long as he's not crazy anymore.
It's just what he does to the robots. So honestly, it's karmic retribution. If we're talking about superpowers that like I would personally want, like me, the actor, I would want teleportation because there's too many cool things and too many cool people, and it costs too much money to see them all. So I would love to just be able to go wherever I wanted at a moment's notice. That would be awesome. Have the podcast all in the same room. That'd be great.
That's true.
But if we're talking about powers our characters would want, Nobusora right now would think he wants mind reading, but he doesn't.
No.
He does not want that. He thinks he wants it. He does not want it. He would be even more unwell if he got mind reading.
Yeah, he would just walk through Rengo District and hear everyone saying, is that him, the crazy one? I swear he's just not right in the head. And he'd be thinking, guys, I'm okay, I promise. And probably resort to violence once again. But very good answers there. I was also thinking teleportation. I'm not gonna lie. That was another one.
Well, I answered for Aina. Like, if it was me, time manipulation. If I could just pause time or slow it down, just get done all the things that I need to do in a day, that would be grand. Just like
I would love that as long as computers still work when time is frozen.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be.
This is the thing, when you actually get into how powers work, because I mean, the teleportation one, like, what if a border guard is like, how did you even get here? Like, do you need to take your passport? When you think about the intricacies of these powers. But yeah, if I could like just pause time, but like things work, like I could still do things like my chores or whatever. and then
Yeah.
replay. I've not lost any time, but look how productive I've been. Yay.
Guaranteed full night's sleep every
Exactly.
night because you could just
Yes,
pause time and just never.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
actually true.
I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
time
days.
manipulation is the one.
That is one of them, yeah.
I
See,
would
okay,
say
let me.
Personally, for me, I would say speed, super speed.
Yeah, super speed because
It's one of the classic ones. However, I mean, you think about it, you never have to spend money on transportation costs. You can go from point A to B, so it kind of takes away. It's kind of like teleportation in a way. It's just, and you would get good exercise out of it. I'm all about good exercise, so I'm good about.
Yeah, I feel like
You'd
that-
attract
yeah.
attention, I feel, though.
I feel like that's
now
that's the one of those like asterisk things at the end of it because don't get me started on superpowers. That's a whole set. We got to make a third podcast for the superpowers.
Yeah.
Podcast 1 is this, 2 is how much we love justice, 3 is me ranting and yapping about superpowers and caveats around them for hours. But like, there's so many different flavors of super speed, and some are really good and some are really bad, and you gotta like get the right one where it's like.
because
How
you
fast
also
do
got
you
to think.
perceive things when you're moving
Yeah, how do you
quickly?
perceive things? Do you need to eat more? Can your body withstand the speed?
Do you actually have to be fit? Because it doesn't matter if I have super speed. I can't run to save my life, so I feel
I
like just be out of
could.
breath at the end of it.
I could run 1,000 miles, technically.
Technically.
I wouldn't be very fast at it, though. So, if I'm perceiving things in normals, it's like at a certain point, super speed just becomes time manipulation because
That's
you
true.
effectively
That is
paused
true.
time, but you still have to do all the running. But then there's all sorts of different flavors of it. Like how fast are you gonna react to stuff while you're going at super speed? If you have to make a turn, how durable and resistant is your body moving 80 miles per hour and then
His
suddenly
legs
taking a
just gonna
right turn?
snap.
Getting that G-force speed and then bam. into
Right.
With the
a wall.
time thing, you
Literally.
can make yourself seem like quicker. Because I always thought, I don't know if you had cross country in the US, like basically just running, a load of running and like PE. And I hated it because I just suck at running. And so I was
Yep,
always like,
same.
man, if I had time manipulation, I could just slow down time a little bit. And then I
Just a
just do a
little.
nice little jog and it looks like I'm super fast compared to everyone else kind of thing. But like,
Exactly.
it was actually okay. So I guess that's kind of running fast, but not really. That's just me slowing everyone else down so I don't seem as abysmal as I actually was with the whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah. See, okay. Now we'll get into the technical standpoint with powers. Let me nerd out for a sec, because there's one true power that I would always go for, and that would be atom manipulation. Because with atom manipulation, you kind of got anything and everything you can do. In the case that you can create things, you could kind of manipulate your atoms to move faster. You could also means you could fly. You could lift things heavier. That's so it's like
But
it's
surely
an
you need a
all-in-one.
fundamental understanding of
Yeah, that's
how
the,
things
that's,
work. Like,
that's
so
that
you could take
asterisk.
apart a
Yeah.
person, but could you put a
That's a
person
fair
back
point.
together and have them work, kind of thing?
That's a fair. I guess I'm going back to school. Like I just.
Yeah, you're gonna need a doctorate in engineering so that you know
Yeah.
how every
Yeah.
single
And-
element of every single thing
and medicine,
works.
right? Like you can build a fully functioning heart or something. Or
That's actually true. Yeah, there's a lot of. I never thought about that.
everyone only sees like the shiny side of the superpowers, but no one ever
you never-
sees the
you
like.
never
Hang
get
on.
down.
Birds have the power of flight. Like they still have to work for it.
They still have to work for it.
It's
Yeah.
about as annoying as us running, I imagine.
Literally that. So no, there's some good
The
superpower
YASUKE
picks though.
podcast, giving you existential crisis since 2025.
Literally, like
Hey, let's bring one of the Oda robots in to really elaborate on the point.
we'll bring my boy Vitra. He'll really help our side of the story. I'm just saying.
Again, look at you putting words in Vitra's mouth. I'm reserving judgment until he's here.
Next podcast is Vitra and Odegaard number 48, and they're gonna go over
Dishing
everything.
all.
They're gonna dish all the best information.
I love it. Okay, final 2 questions we got. Number 1 is, what side are you all rooting for? Okay, all right. So I feel like there's probably going to be a lot of bias here from everyone's standpoint. But okay, I'll try and speak as much from the middle as I can. In terms of everything that goes on in this story, of course we can't spoil things, but with everything that goes on in this story, I can understand Nobusura's point, and how he became the person he is. Do I agree with the person he is? No. But I think that once you know, you're like, okay, that makes sense why he's so cuckoo crazy. But the actions he kind of does from it, not justifiable. And for that reason is why, of course, I'm siding with Tanaka and Mia and trying to revolt against the Oda clan.
Understandable.
I gotta be on Tanaka and Mia's side. I mean, as much as she loves the Oda clan, not really that much, but she.
You invite us here? You break bread with you? You dare say that to our faces?
Just a side that does not kill the country. That's her stance. As long as there can be, some place where they can fit in without, disrupting the, massive power balance that the Oda clan has, but making it better and safer for everybody living within Nyankoku. I think that's where her stance is making sure that the people are safe, making sure that families are still intact, that they're not destroyed by what they have to live with on the everyday. That's her stance, is working for the little man.
Exactly. It's a perfect stance by it. Now let's hear the Odas.
Oh boy.
Gonna take it away?
Okay, so if I'm speaking from Nobusora's perspective, obviously, I feel like he's rooting for his own side, which I think in his mind is also everyone's side. I'm not saying he's right about that perspective, but the country in which he rules is representative of the totality of the people in it. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of people at the top who do things to make things happen. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Sometimes you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Sometimes you have to do hard things for the greater good of things, to keep things running. And fighting a war is going to be easier than ruling a country. You can overthrow the government, but what does it become when it's been overthrown? Does Tanaka know how to govern? Does he understand tax law? Does he understand our various treaties with other countries and who's on our side and who's not? Has he ever thought about, if this tower comes falling down, what it means for the people underneath it? The rubble that will fall and who it will fall upon, that there's other forces outside of Nyankoku who might be interested in its remains once it's been overthrown. It might not all be nice and happy and fun if things are overthrown. It might not be a happy ending, and maybe what's currently going on is the best story. But speaking from my personal experience as the actor, take him out, take the shot, take him down. He needs to be taken down. Listen, you're in the office. It's terrible. We need revolutionary change in this Nyankoku. We need to improve things for the people.
Very valid, very valid.
I guess my PR response is just because we have one slightly rotten egg doesn't mean that the entire Oda omelet is bad. And that maybe if we just remove that one little bit, then everything is fine. And let's just keep us in control. Because as we said earlier, all the people seem to love it here. And the city's amazing and woo. Yeah, I think for Ayana's actual stances, Team Aina. I think she's just there she knows that the situation is untenable and her bro is crazy, and she doesn't necessarily have any loyalty to that, but equally, whether or not that automatically means she's the perfect ally for a load of insurgents and revolutionaries, I'm not sure. I think she'd just take the most pragmatic path of whichever one benefits me in the moment, and if that could also benefit the nation, wonderful. But I don't know if she's very much rah-rah revolution is definitely the way to go for kind of the reasons that were expanded upon earlier. Team me is like, bitch, I'll take the crown. Like, give it to Aina. Like, she'll be the queen. Like, we don't need no revolution. Just like, I'm just gonna push my bro aside, and then we'll just have a new era, baby. So that's my self-interested. I'm here for the Aina goes rogue option.
Nice. New story path. I didn't even see that one coming.
Yes.
She's been running things behind the scenes for ages. She knows how it works. Like you just need a calm head at this, like a head of Neon Koku. Everything's fine, and that is me, and that is why Aina Oda, I'm running for president. You don't get a vote, actually, but we'll call me a president if you feel better.
Part 2. It's happening again.
Yasuke, a Lost Descendant, episode 2, history repeats itself.
History
That's all
repeats
history
itself.
is. It's all
I'm telling you, it's the bloodline. It's just in the blood, bro. Oh my gosh. Okay, and finally, to wrap this off, what's your favorite part about your character? This could be either design, this could be personality stuff. Up to you guys. I will say for myself with Tanaka Yasuke, my favorite thing about him, it might have to be, it's got to be the stances, the animal stances, because very much in the case of being able to switch between the lion, cheetah, and rhino, and the fact it changes his attack patterns, how quick or how heavy he hits, it has a different kind of source to it. And no bias whatsoever, definitely not from myself or the team. Cheetah is the best stance. But hey, I just think that's got to be my favorite part, is the different fighting styles with him.
Real.
Okay, I gotta say this from a Mia standpoint, and this is from when Will, you told me a lot about her, and you immediately picked up on certain things about me, and I'm like, I feel called out. She's a huge wrestling fan. People didn't know that Mia likes wrestling, and that I like wrestling, and then I was like, whoa, okay.
It's made to be.
I feel a little called out with that. But yeah, I feel like Mia is just a very different personification of myself in the sense that she does things that's right. And but I think her parkour is gonna be one of my favorite things. And like she's just so athletic, and things like things I want to be more like Mia, and then things that are more like Mia are part of me. So that's really cool.
You really are Mia. We love to hear.
I know.
It's a Mia.
It's a Mia.
As far as things that I really like about Nobusora, there's so much psychologically going on with his character, and he creates so much tension in the narrative with what he has going on, and it's so interesting to see his path and like his arc in the story, and like things that have gone in the past, and see like, oh, if this step had played differently, we'd be on a different timeline. If this step had played differently, we'd be on a different timeline. Like, so many of his like decisions and his mindset and how he wants to operate are like just really interesting to see. He's a very tragic character in a way, like literally tragic, not like I don't feel sorry for him in so many ways, but like the thing of like, things aren't working great for him in so many different ways, and he has so many different failings and errors and flaws that make him very interesting to perceive in the narrative. I think he's very fun to watch from the outside. I would never grab a drink with him, he's very, very interesting to see where he's going narratively, and I obviously love his character design. I love the metal arm. He's a Winter Soldier main in Marvel Rivals.
Definitely.
Oh my God.
Fun fact, whilst writing Nobusora's story, there were so many nights while I'm there, I'm like, how could I make Nobusura's life worse? And that's kind of the basis it went with, where it was like, okay, this is bad, but it could be worse. And then, it kind of just built up from that. And hey, it's part of why I love him. He has quite the interesting backstory. See, now with you guys' answers, I'm like, you guys really delving deep into your characters. I'm like, I like how he fights. With Tanaka.
If that's what you like about it, though, no shame.
I'll spin back to mine after, but Savvy, I'll let you take it away with that.
I like the fact that she kind of operates in a middle space. Like, she's not clear-cut rah-rah insurgency revolution. She's also not clear-cut Yas Team Oda. I think the possibilities that she has from a narrative point of view are very interesting. The fact that she does have people in the Oda clan that did treat her well and were nice to her, like her stepmother, but the fact that she obviously used to be friends with Tanaka and Mia, I think she's one of those characters that could go in so many directions just purely because her allegiance isn't necessarily set in stone and is more liable to flip-flop. I think I like the malleability that she has, and that she could almost be anything at this point from a narrative point of view, depending on how a certain thing might go. And I think that's really interesting that she's in this middle, almost endless possibility space.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's actually funny the same way you were saying with how Chase said with Oda, the small decisions changed how his life goes. And in that same case, exactly the same thing can happen with Aina. We don't know what the
she's
future
almost
holds.
further back from I guess her brother's more further along in the what's happened has happened to him already sort of thing. But I think she's had
tale.
Yeah, a cautionary tale, exactly. Whereas I think she's had some of those experiences, but hers haven't been as, I guess, wholly negative as her brother's. So I guess there is a way that she could end up converting to the Oda cause. There's also a way she could end up being like a super ally to Tanaka. There's also a way she could just do something else entirely. I think that's what I mean is as this narrative currently unfolds, I think will impact her more as opposed to having her course and path set because her backstory is kind of already informed her who she is. She's got more flexibility in that sort of sense, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect answer with that. Damn, guys. See, now I need to run back and go with my answer with Tanaka because, he fights good. Oh my gosh.
Jerry, are you going to get Jerry to take that out?
Jerry, can we just,
$10? No, I never said the fighting stuff.
I never said the fighting stuff. Okay, if we go a bit deeper into Tanaka's character and actually what, again, on the basis, I'm gonna stand by what I said. I love the way he fights, but one of the main things with Tanaka's character is the fact that he fights for what's right. That's kind of even in our game design document, that's one of the statements that is use the power to fight for what's right, because that's his whole ideology. He's trying to, the same way Eva was saying with Mia, fight, help the little person, help the little guy, try to help this country out from the indoctrination that it's currently been going through, whilst also uncovering more of his story, of his origins, things that he doesn't understand fully. That's the reason why the game's called YASUKE Lost Descendant, because there is obviously ties to the real life YASUKE, and that is part of things that we will come to learn. So seeing his story, how it unfolds, and the kind of character progression, that is also a major thing. Obviously, you guys won't know until you play the game, but Tanaka's personality and character and aspect is drastically different by the end of the game versus how it is at the beginning. Because he obviously needs to learn a lot of different morals. He needs to learn sometimes you can't do things the way you want to do them, or what is the stakes that need to be, taken or had to be able to save the day or whatever it may be. So seeing Tanaka having to conflict and fight with his own morals originally to change into someone else that will help save the day or whatever it could be, this is part of the stuff that I really enjoy with Tanaka's character, and because it goes a lot deeper than the, obviously right now on the forefront is kind of, you know, usual main character, protagonist, haha, that sort of thing. But it's a lot more than that, and it's gonna showcase that with the decisions you'll see him make, the sort of interactions he'll have with different characters. You'll see the tone shift in interactions that he has with characters, and there'll even be moments where you'll see Mia point out like, you're kind of acting different than how you usually act, or things like that. But again, it's just that sort of character progression, the personality, the deep dive into him trying to do what's right. That's my favorite part about Tanaka. And he also fights really cool.
And that was definitely the first answer he gave everyone. He didn't copy
Yeah,
our
like
homework
you guys
after the fact.
didn't hear any of the stuff. I definitely didn't, you know, write notes down of everyone else's answers. Or nothing like that.
And now we're gonna go back and edit in me saying, Oda got nice hair. And that's gonna be what my answer is, and yours will be the very long one.
Yeah. Gotta be sophisticated, you know. But one small thing design-wise, I love his earrings, mask, and necklace. Those absolutely amazing, and I actually really want to see if we can get it done as much, because I want to wear those. I mean, come on now, who wouldn't?
So real.
Honestly, that jacket is sick. I love the jacket. It is so really well designed.
Yeah, thank you. That one was because his
Merch
jackets
coming
had like.
when is the merch coming?
Oh, you make a good
the
point.
cosplay.
Damn it. The time, it's suddenly you know, the cosplay definitely gotta happen. I definitely gotta cosplay as Tanaka, because I just imagine me showing up for one of the trailers or whatever it may be in a full Tanaka cosplay. Like, come on now, that would be sick as hell. So I don't know, we'll see. Actually, I might have to start talking to some clothing companies, see if we can get anything in the works and potentially get, you know, the clothing done, because even with Tanaka's clothing as a whole, outside his jacket and whatnot, on his like skirt thing, I don't know what we call that piece of clothing, but whatever that extra bit is, plus his shoes, there's actually a brand on it, which is in Japanese characters, but in English that means psycho, to which the translation of that is actually supreme. So it's our world's version of supreme. So Tanaka, you got some designer on, I'm just saying. So I think a psycho clothing branch or clothing brand in real life would be pretty cool if you could get stuff like that down.
Nice.
So who knows? Much might be on the way, guys. We'll see.
You can get Mia's baseball bat for a limited time.
Facts. That could actually
And
be
for
great.
the low
Camilla
price
is
of
not going anywhere but me.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm keeping that one.
And for the low price of 8 million USD, you can get Nobusora's functional robot prosthetic arm.
You know, that could be in the works right now as we speak. You can't let them know. Oh my gosh. But I think that pretty much wraps up for this episode 1 of the Yasuke Yapcast. Are we gonna do we finalize with that name? Yasuke Yapcast?
The Yapcast.
I'm
New
gonna
name every
Yapsuke.
episode.
New name every episode. True. We'll figure it out. But this is the first insight to this. You get to hear from us, the VAs. So you'll get new questions each time, and obviously as this progresses, you guys can bring in some questions and we may answer them in a future one. So, you know, leave any questions you guys might have.
I like how you said may. If we just don't want to, we're better than you, so we just won't.
You're right. Leave some questions and we'll answer them. The only thing is because we could get some weird questions. You never know.
That's true. That's very true. And we can't do spoilery ones. But...
Exactly. So we'll judge on the question you give us, and then we may or may not answer them. And of course, you'll have guest characters every now and some other cast people. You'll come to find some new cast being revealed through the radio show as well. So I hope you guys all stay excited for that. And any final things from you guys to say, and you know, your thoughts on this and the podcast going forward?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
If you made it to this point, comment something weird in the comments. Throw off the algorithm.
Wait, we should actually think of something that they could comment.
Yeah,
Oda has
me and
nice hair.
baseball
Like
that when.
No,
the truth.
how about
Okay, two
what
things.
their Danketsus would be, or what power would they want?
See,
See what
we were
people
thinking.
say about that.
You make a good point. We were thinking ridiculous things, but that's actually a good one.
Yeah,
So,
that's
if
good.
you made it this far into the podcast, let us know what your Danketsu power would be and why. And again, we're going to be technical about it. So, if you choose something like super speed, we're going to say, are you able to actually withstand that speed? Or, so give all
Well,
the
when we
detail
were
that you
discussing
can.
the powers, which one do you think was made with the most thought put into?
That's
And
true.
why
that's
wasn't
true.
it mind reading?
Why wasn't it?
Say why that wasn't the good one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that'll wrap it up, and we shall catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.